ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight from the heart. This right here could be the day your life changes. I mean it. But let me ask you first, how many more mornings are you going to wake up and go through the motions like your life ain't got purpose? See, too many people are living on autopilot. Wake up, go to work, come home, scroll on your phone, go to bed, and then wonder why life feels so empty. Listen to me. You were not born for ordinary. You were not made to just exist. You were created to shine. Your mindset is the steering wheel of your life. Change it and you change direction. Everything in your life begins and ends with the way you think. The thoughts you allow to take root in your mind shape your choices, your responses, your attitude, and ultimately your destiny. Most people don't realize just how powerful their mindset is. They believe that outside circumstances, luck, or other people hold the key to success or happiness. But that's not the truth. The truth is, your life will always move in the direction of your dominant thoughts. If you constantly think you're not good enough, then you'll make decisions that reflect that belief. You'll hesitate when opportunities come. You'll settle for less than what you deserve. On the other hand, when you start to believe that you have value, that you are made for something greater, that you can overcome what's behind you, then your life will begin to reflect those beliefs. It's not magic, it's mindset. The way you think shapes the way you live. Your thoughts control how you interpret the world. Two people can face the exact same problem, but respond completely differently. One sees defeat, the other sees growth. One sees a closed door, the other sees a chance to build a new one. The difference isn't in the situation, it's in the mindset. That's why you can't ignore the importance of mental discipline. What you think about day in and day out will eventually become your reality. The things you dwell on are like seeds you plant in the garden of your life. Negative thoughts plant weeds. Positive thoughts plant fruit. You can't expect peace if all you do is focus on problems. You can't expect joy if all you think about is what's missing. You can't expect to feel confident if you constantly tell yourself you are not enough. Change your thoughts and you change everything. Now, that doesn't mean changing your mindset is easy. It takes intention. You have to watch what you're feeding your mind. Just like you protect your body from poison, you have to protect your mind from toxic influences. People who constantly complain, media that only promotes fear, voices that tell you you'll never be more than what you are right now. You have to start replacing those voices with truth. You have to speak life into yourself when nobody else does. You have to remind yourself daily that you were made for more, that your past does not define you, and that your future is not limited by your current situation. That kind of self-talk isn't arrogance, it's survival, it's strength, it's strategy. The beauty of the mind is that it's trainable. You weren't born with a fixed mindset. You developed it through experiences, repetition, and what you allowed in. And that means you can change it. You can decide that from this day forward, you will think differently. You can build a habit of gratitude. You can teach yourself to focus on progress instead of perfection. You can choose to look for opportunities instead of obstacles. It takes time. It takes effort, but it's possible. And when your mindset begins to shift, you'll see changes in how you act, how you talk, how you carry yourself, how you respond to challenges. You'll start moving in a new direction. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because you did. You got wiser. You got stronger. You took back control of your steering wheel and you started driving toward a better future instead of coasting in circles. Success doesn't ask for permission. It demands discipline and consistency. Too many people are sitting around waiting for someone to give them the green light, waiting for a perfect time, waiting for a sign that now is the moment to start chasing what they truly want. But success doesn't work like that. It doesn't come knocking politely on your door, asking if you're ready. It doesn't pause to wait for your doubts to quiet down or your circumstances to become comfortable. It shows up for the ones who are already moving, already putting in the work, already choosing to be consistent even when motivation runs out. Discipline is the muscle that pushes you through when excitement fades. It's the voice in your head that says, do it anyway, even when you don't feel like it. And it's the number one ingredient most people lack when they say they want success, but refuse to change their habits. People often talk about talent like it's everything, but talent without discipline is wasted potential. You can be the smartest, most gifted person in the room, but if you're not willing to put in the work consistently, day after day, that talent won't carry you very far. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's not flashy. It's not exciting. Sometimes it's boring, repetitive, and quiet, but that's where the real work happens. In the silence, in the moments when no one's watching, in the hours when you show up again and again, even when you feel invisible. Discipline builds the foundation that success can stand on. Consistency is where the real power lies. Anyone can work hard for a day, maybe even a week. But success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. It's waking up early every morning to put in the work. It's turning off distractions when everyone else is wasting time. It's choosing your long-term goals over short-term comfort over and over again. That kind of commitment changes you. It sharpens you. It proves to you that you can be trusted with the vision you were given. Because success is not just about achievement. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle that achievement. And you don't become that person overnight. You build it in the moments when you rather quit, but you choose to keep going anyway. Discipline and consistency aren't about being perfect. They're about showing up. They're about learning to be reliable for yourself. Most people break promises to themselves faster than they break them to anyone else. But what would happen if you actually followed through? What would happen if you stopped negotiating with your excuses and started treating your goals like non-negotiables? That's when the shift happens. That's when your life starts to align with your potential. You stop looking for permission and start creating momentum. You don't need someone to validate your grind. You don't need applause for every step forward. What you need is to be consistent when it's hard, to be disciplined when no one's watching, and to keep going when the results are instant. Because success doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to work. The kind of work that becomes a part of you, the kind that becomes who you are. You become the person who shows up no matter what, who does what needs to be done without waiting for inspiration. And when you live like that, day after day, discipline and consistency become your superpowers. They turn ordinary people into legends. They take average beginnings and build extraordinary outcomes. They carry you when motivation leaves and remind you that you're not doing this for quick rewards. You're doing it to change your life. Your imagination is God's preview of what He has prepared for you. Believe it. Most people don't understand the true power of imagination. They think it's just daydreaming or wishful thinking, but it's far more than that. Your imagination is a spiritual tool, a glimpse into what's possible for you if you dare to believe. It's not just something you use to escape the real world. It's a vision of what your life could become if you stop limiting yourself to what you've already seen. Every dream you've ever had, every picture that's flashed in your mind of a life better than the one you're living is not a coincidence. It's a signal. It's God showing you a future that's available to you if you're willing to move toward it. Too often, we ignore those visions. We push them aside because they seem too big, too unrealistic, too far from where we are right now. But that gap between your current reality and your imagined future isn't meant to discourage you. It's meant to wake you up. It's meant to stir up your faith, to make you hungry for more, to remind you that you weren't created to stay stuck in the same routine forever. You can see it in your mind. You can move toward it in your life. But the first step is believing that your imagination is more than fantasy. It's direction. It's guidance. It's divine inspiration. When a child imagines being a hero or an astronaut or an artist, they believe it with their whole heart. They don't second guess it or demand evidence before they get excited. Somewhere along the way, adults lose that fire. They let life beat it out of them. They get told to be realistic, to settle, to stop dreaming. But the truth is, your dreams are part of your calling. You weren't meant to bury them under the weight of logic and fear. You were meant to use them as motivation to rise above your limitations. Imagination is where all greatness begins. Every invention, every breakthrough, every success story started with someone daring to imagine something greater. You don't need all the answers before you start. You don't need a detailed map. You just need faith strong enough to trust vision. That's the thing about imagination. It doesn't promise ease. It promises possibility. And possibility is powerful enough to keep you moving even when things get hard. You may not know how to build a dream, but the fact that you can see it in your mind means it's meant for you. If it wasn't, it wouldn't keep showing up. It wouldn't keep tugging at your spirit. That picture in your head of a better life is not a mistake. It's a preview of the life that's waiting for your courage to catch up. Imagination speaks the language of hope. It dares to believe that brokenness can lead to healing, that failure can turn into wisdom, that struggle can be the soil for something incredible to grow. You don't need the approval of others to chase the picture God planted in your heart. They may not see it, they may not understand it, but they weren't given your vision, you were. That makes it your responsibility to honor it, to pursue it, to water it with action and protect it from doubt. It might take time. It might take setbacks. But if you keep that picture alive and keep believing that it's more than just fantasy, you'll start making decisions that align with it. You'll stop settling for what's easy and start reaching for what's possible. And with every small step, your imagination becomes your reality. Excuses are lies wrapped in fear. Face your fear and free yourself. Every time you tell yourself you're not ready, not smart enough, not strong enough, or not lucky enough, what you're really doing is giving fear a voice and calling it logic. Excuses sound reasonable. They sound like protection. But deep down, they are designed to keep you exactly where you are. They are comfortable chains. They don't scream, they whisper. They convince you to stay in the familiar, to play small, to delay action until conditions feel perfect. But the truth is, there is no perfect condition. Life doesn't slow down and wait for you to feel confident. Fear doesn't disappear because you waited long enough. The only way to conquer fear is to face it head on. And to face it, you got to stop making excuses for why you haven't started, why you've given up, or why you continue to avoid the very thing that could change your life. Fear is a natural part of growth. It's not the enemy. It's the evidence that you're standing at the edge of something meaningful. But when you wrap that fear in an excuse, you strip away its clarity. You let it control your narrative. You start believing things like, this isn't the right time, or I'll start when I have more money, or they're better than me, so why try? All of that is fear dressed up like reason. And once you recognize it, you can take its power away. You can start telling the truth, that you're scared, that you are uncertain, but that you are also capable, worthy, and built for more than survival. Facing your fear doesn't mean you suddenly stop feeling it. It means you no longer let it drive your decisions. Excuses are heavy. They may feel like shields, but really they're burdens. They keep you stuck in the same cycle, wishing, regretting, doubting. Every time you choose an excuse over effort, you dig the hole a little deeper. But you are not your excuses. You are not the failures you use to justify inaction. You are not the circumstances you were born into or the setbacks you faced. You are what you choose to do next. And you can choose to stop hiding behind fear. You can choose to start showing up scared and all and build a new standard for your life. Nobody else is coming to break those chains for you. You've got to do it yourself. When you stop making excuses, what you're really doing is reclaiming your power. You're saying, I might fall, but I'm willing to rise. You're saying, I might not know everything, but I'm ready to learn. That's courage. And courage isn't loud, it's steady. It's the quiet decision to keep going when nobody's watching. It's waking up one day and saying, no more waiting, no more hiding. I'm doing this. And when you do that, you start to build a new relationship with fear. Instead of running from it, you begin to use it. You turn it into fuel. You realize that fear doesn't mean stop. It means this matters. It means you're on the edge of a breakthrough. Most people let fear shape their identity. They shrink, they doubt, they run. But you are not most people. You were born with a spirit meant to rise, to fight, to overcome. The first step is being honest with yourself. Are you really unable, or are you just afraid? Are you really too busy, or are you just avoiding discomfort? Are you really not ready, or are you just protecting your ego from failure? Ask yourself the hard questions. And when you find fear behind the excuses, face it. Stare it down. Step toward it instead of away from it. Because on the other side of that fear is the version of you you've been trying to become. Gratitude turns what you have into more than enough. It's one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life. Not because it changes your circumstances, but because it changes your perspective. The moment you choose gratitude, you begin to see everything differently. You stop focusing on what's missing and start recognizing what's already present. And in that shift, your life begins to transform. You realize that so much of what you've been chasing is actually rooted in dissatisfaction. But when you stop and truly appreciate what you have, your soul becomes rich even if your pockets aren't. Gratitude quiets the noise of comparison, silences the voice of entitlement, and gives you peace in the middle of chaos. People spend so much of their energy focusing on what they don't have, what hasn't gone right, what they haven't achieved yet. That mindset breeds anxiety, frustration, and bitterness. It creates a loop where nothing ever feels like enough. You get one thing and immediately chase the next. There's no pause to appreciate, no time to say thank you, no moment to be still and grateful. But gratitude interrupts that cycle. It teaches you to celebrate progress, to acknowledge small wins, to recognize the beauty in the process rather than just the prize. It grounds you. It reminds you that while you may not be where you want to be, you're also not where you used to be. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to see the good even in the imperfect. It's a discipline, not an emotion. Some days gratitude feels natural. Other days you have to fight for it. But when you do, it changes your energy. It opens your heart. It unlocks joy, not because everything's going your way, but because you've learned to find the light even in dark seasons. You look around at your life and say, I may not have it all, but I have something, and I'm thankful for it. That mindset creates peace. It creates resilience. It allows you to keep going, not out of desperation, but from a place of quiet strength. One of the most overlooked truths is that the more grateful you are, the more you attract reasons to be grateful. It's not just spiritual, it's practical. When you approach life with a grateful heart, you treat people better, you show up with more positive energy, you focus on solutions instead of problems. People are drawn to that kind of spirit. Opportunities come, relationships grow, doors open, not because everything suddenly becomes easy, but because gratitude makes you more aware of the opportunities that have been around you the whole time. Gratitude is also a healer. It softens the hard parts of life. It gives you peace when nothing around you makes sense. When you lose something or someone, gratitude helps you remember what they gave you rather than only feeling the pain of what's gone. It allows you to hold both joy and grief in the same space. It brings balance to moments that feel unbearable. It doesn't erase pain, but it reminds you that life still holds beauty, that even in struggle, there are things worth holding on to, things worth waking up for. To live with gratitude is to live with awareness. It's paying attention. It's noticing the morning light coming through the window. It's hearing someone laugh and being thankful for the sound. It's walking into your home and remembering a time when you were praying for a roof over your head. Gratitude creates perspective, and perspective gives life meaning. When you start to live this way, you begin to need less